For those of you unaware, League of Legends is a multiplayer online battle arena made by Riot Games. It is currently on PC and technically mobile with the release of Wild Rift. And I'm here to warn you about the 5 most prominent types of players that you will meet when you play this game, if you choose to play this game. Now, this is not meant to dissuade anyone from wanting to experience League of Legends. I personally have a great time when playing with friends. This list specifically correlates to solo queue players that you will potentially meet should you ever queue up on your own. And yes, this even applies to normal games. Firstly, let's get the obvious one out of the way. ADCs are the biggest fucking crybabies. And Riot doesn't even try to hide that. Like, if you look up, like, account ban statistics, ADCs seem to get a lot more leeway with what they get account banned for. Meanwhile, junglers and top laners are most often to be struck with chat restriction. And a lot of times you'll find that the ADC was the one that instigated them into saying something that could be considered toxic. Now, why do I say this? Because so far this season, I've played, I want to say, 480 games of League of Legends. It sounds really bad when I say it out loud. Regardless, I have a lot of data to go by. And, yeah. I've been playing since Season 3. And one thing has never changed. If you're the support and your ADC dies on your way to lane because you didn't synchronize backs for whatever reason, even if it's entirely their fault, because they exited tower range to attempt to grab farm without using an ability like MF's E, for example. And let's say hypothetically they get snagged by enemy Leona, enemy Xayah comes in, bam, full combo, they're dead. Now, what do you think that Alistar, who's only halfway to lane, is going to hear from their ADC? This Alistar's trash. I can't play with a support like this. Even though it happens to them more often than they would like to admit. Next, I mentioned supports. They're next on the chopping block. Supports are the solo supports. People who solo queue support are the biggest smartasses. They always have something to say in response to whatever, and I can't even excuse myself from this. I feel like it a lot of the time. But I'm a good little boy, and I have turned off all chat, and I've made it my duty to communicate 80% to 90% through pings. Even when I'm playing with my friends. But that's just the kind of player I am. I have a little more self-control than the average player, I would like to think. I've kept an account for this many years anyway. I've never been banned. Regardless, next, let's go with mid laners, anime protagonists. Next, just kidding. A lot of times, mids can, especially with junglers more so than the support players, unless the support is playing like a support that can also be played mid, and the mid laner plays that champion in the mid lane sometimes. They can be a little condescending, but it's usually with junglers who maybe mistime a gank, or they get caught out by their laner in river, and then the mid laner and the jungler get into a fucking fist fight in the chat and leave me in top lane to wonder why mid isn't being pushed up and why the enemy mid laner is roaming to other lanes. And it's mostly because the mid laner and the jungler have gotten into a flame war. Then there's top laners. When I think of the average top laner, like, not gameplay wise, because he's really good at the game, but Hsien-Shin. Personality wise, a lot of top laners are Hsien-Shin, especially when they're in a losing matchup. And right through the counter strike! Yeah. That's top lane in a nutshell. If you don't watch Hsien-Shin, you should check out some of his streams. He still streams on YouTube. Yeah, I guess I've pretty much covered everyone. I didn't get into specifically jungler, I guess. Oh no. Junglers are usually pretty chill unless they will go on an absolute tirade if somebody takes... Okay, so like, let's say they weren't wanting to smite their first jungle camp, and the ADC just like is AFK auto-attacking the red buff, for example. Yeah, you know exactly the kind of situation I'm referring to. If their camp gets stolen, it's over. They're FF at 15. They have lost all hope in the entire game from the start. Wow, this is going on a lot longer than I thought it would. I was expecting like a minute per roll. Anyway, yeah, this is my thesis on why it's actually healthiest mentally to play River Shin. Peace, guys.